Get ready for chills and thrills at Hometown Haunts and Hops Horror Convention here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Join us for a spine-tingling day of horror-filled fun on October 28th at the Mayflower Brewing Company. Meet horror actor Matthew G. Taylor from Resident Evil and dive into a macabre world of cinema and literature. Sip on chilling brews, indulge in ghastly treats, and immerse yourself in a haunted atmosphere. Whether you're a horror buff or just seeking an unforgettable experience, Hometown Haunts and Hops has it all. Don't miss out on the eerie excitement. Secure your tickets now by heading on over to Inebri-art.com. Go to our events calendar, and in October you will find the link for Hometown Haunts and Hops, which is sponsored by HalloweenNewEngland.com. HalloweenNewEngland.com is the website for the truly Halloween obsessed, with the most extensive guides to New England haunted houses, ghost tours, classic horror film screenings, jack-o'-lantern festivals, haunted hayrides, and more. They've got all the thrills covered throughout September and October, with over 2,500 Halloween events on their events calendar and hundreds of local Halloween attractions. It's the only place you'll find everything from haunted history tours and costume contests to which haunts are open on Thursday nights. HalloweenNewEngland.com has your Halloween covered and is sponsoring Hometown Haunts and Hops this year. Welcome back, Inebri-arts. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and you have unlocked our bonus episode. And by unlock, I mean you click download. That's really all that it takes to unlock it. This is really a short episode. However, when you get to interview one of the legends of heavy metal, you give it his own episode, regardless of how long it is. We were at Scarecon a couple weeks ago, and we were lucky enough to get an interview with Dee Snider. So I just wanted to give a little premise that this is a short one, and we'll actually be putting out a full Scarecon episode, and you can check out this interview there as well. So let's get into the interview with Dee Snider. All right, welcome back, Inebri-ites. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and we're recording today at Scarecon in Framingham, and we are here today with heavy metal legend Dee Snider. So welcome to the show, Dee.
Good to be here.
And you're promoting your new album that comes out July 27th, For the Love of Metal.
For the Love of Metal. Yes.
So when was the last album came out? Like, has this been a long hiatus for you? Or?
No, We Are the Ones came out about a year ago. It was a mainstream rock record. But with this record, Jamie Josta from Hatebreed challenged me to make a true metal record. And
a bet?
It was a challenge, literally on his podcast. He said, I have a challenge for you. And he said, I challenge you to make a contemporary metal record. And I said, who's producing? He said, I am. I said, all right, let's do it. But the funny thing is, he says, I've challenged a lot of people. You're the first one to accept. Yeah. I said, well, now you have to put your money where your mouth is. So we went in the studio and just out of the passion for the music, made a really heavy record, but a great record.
And you're going to bring him on House of Hair and challenge him to do something.
Well, House of Hair, if the listeners know, it's very... it's got a very strict playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no new metal bands, there's no interviews, there's no new music. So I had nothing to challenge. Look, I did challenge him. I turned the challenge around. I said, well, you're producing, produce, So, but the reaction so far, the record hasn't come out officially, but the first single to Metal Radio, Tomorrow's No Concern, came out and blew people's minds. And I'm doing a lot of interviews with writers, and they're just stunned by the ferocity and the contemporary sound, but while still being true to Dee Snider. So it's a very promising record.
Nice. And the first convention I ever saw you at, you were promoting Strangeland, and I believe Strangeland 2 is coming out?
Coming out is not coming out. No.
Okay.
It's in various stages. It seems like it's moving forward.
Well, that's positive.
I've got a new production company called Twisted Storm, and we're involved in a lot of horror. And cradle to grave horror company. As a matter of fact, we just sold an animated kids show to Netflix.
An animated horror kid show?
Well, it's got little monsters in it, and they're cute and they're friendly and they rock. And we figure we introduce the kids to monsters, and aren't they cute? And
yeah.
Take you on a journey to like, oh my God, he's not cute at all. Oh God! They turn to Sam Kinison. Ow, ow, ow! Yeah. And we've got like 3 horror television shows, episodic, that we're in various stages of development on. 3 horror movies, various stages of development, and we are about to announce. I wish the ink was dry, but it's not. Relaunching and rebooting of one of the biggest horror franchises in history.
Wow!
Your mind will be blown when you hear which one it is and what we're doing with it. So, expect by next month to be making. It'll be in Variety. It'll be everywhere that we are relaunching this incredible franchise.
That's awesome, and I feel like with the dawn of things like Hulu and Netflix, and there's such a wide variety of entertainment out there because people have more venues to put it out. Are you finding it easier to get stuff out?
Well, there's certainly a demand for product, and to VO, direct to video, used to be like a kiss of death, but now it's an alternative. Stuff is being seen,
right?
Stuff is being enjoyed, stuff's being accessed, and there's money out there, and there's money being spent. So we feel that Twisted Storm is arriving with all of its product at a great time when Apple's getting the game and Google's getting in the game, and so many platforms are opening up, and it's an exciting time for producing new content.
Yeah. And speaking of content, this is a little off my notes, but I was on YouTube the other day, and I'm sure I started with like some sort of gardening thing, and you end up on a rabbit hole, and I ended up on a video that you had done. It's not a cover because it's your song, but it's a re-recording of "We're Not Going to Take It" that you did for a cancer organization. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay, start over, D.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll just self-starting over. Chris Angel, the legendary magician, a friend of mine, and he was doing he started a new children's cancer foundation. His son is, probably 3 now, but has leukemia.
Oh.
Sadly. And he reached out to me to participate, and I said, I was working on the We Are the Ones record, and we had recorded this piano vocal, very dramatic version of We're Not Going to Take It.
Yeah, it was really different.
For something I didn't even think was possible, but my producer said, I hear a version here, and I was like, what are you, nuts? And when I went in and I heard the piano, and I went in and sang, it was haunting.
Yeah.
And when Chris heard it, he says, dude, you got to let me do a video. This has got to be sort of our battle cry in the fight against children's cancer, because very sadly, as it turns out, only 12% of research money to fight cancer goes to children's cancer.
Oh, wow.
And would think, to me, it should be the other way around.
Right, you think because they probably have the best chances.
And they are the future.
Yeah.
Not to the old people, like, I'm going to save you so you can live 10 more years. No.
Right.
I mean, let's help the kids who need the help the most. But anyway, we did it. Chris directed the video, and it wound up going pretty viral, millions and millions of views, and it's just amazing how a song like that can take on almost a completely different meaning in a different circumstance and delivered a different way.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was very dramatic. It was really moving, and I lost my mother to leukemia, and I really keyed into it. So.
Well, you know what? I mean, nobody is more than a degree separated from cancer.
Right.
Whether personally, family member, or somebody, everybody is touched by it somehow. So it's such, look, we can go, it's a whole other, we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, but just say this is, there's people out there trying to do research, trying to help.
Yeah.
Give what you can. And, and I do a lot of charity work now, and I run into people who say, well, I don't have much to give. And I say, let me tell you a quick story, and I'll tell you, I went and visited the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
And I took a tour with everybody else, and the guide says, please don't throw stones in the Grand Canyon. And everybody laughed, and he goes, no, seriously, it's very tempting. He says, but if everybody who visited the Grand Canyon threw a stone in, it would fill up.
It's crazy to think of that, but
right.
yeah.
And I use that, apply that to charity work. Say, you think that your dollar isn't much?
Yeah.
Imagine if everybody gave $1.
Right. Yeah.
There'd be no charity work to be done because you have billions and billions of dollars just because everybody gave $1. So never think your donation is too small.
Right. Well, that's some really great advice. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer meeting your fans in this format, or do you prefer like a concert where you can feed off their energy?
Well, I mean, they're apples and oranges, and I enjoy them both. I mean, thing when you do movies or TV or concert or record, there's a distance, with the movies and TVs and concerts. I mean, and records, you don't even get to see the reaction.
Yeah.
When you do I've been on Broadway. When you do a show, you hear a reaction, but there's still a chasm between you and if everybody threw a rock into the no. People could walk to safety.
If people threw a rock at you on Broadway,
let's not start that. And but here you really get a chance to take a moment and meet fans, share a word.
Yeah.
They get to tell you, what your stuff has meant to them. And believe me, we, the artists, are getting as much out of the exchange as you're getting. You're meeting a hero, but we're getting to. It's just nice to hear how your stuff affected people. Unless, of course, it's bad news, and then just don't get on the line, please. I don't want to hear your problems. No, I'm kidding.
And when you started Twisted Sister, did you ever expect to be on Broadway? You were in Rock of Ages and Rocktopia?
Rocktopia. Look, there's things that I've done in the last 20 years. If you had told me when I was starting out that I would do things like be on Broadway, have a Christmas album, write a song Celine Dion record, I literally would have punched you in the nose. I would have made you take it back.
Yeah.
Because I'm metal.
Right.
So, but life's interesting. And life has surprises. And I wind up doing things you never thought you'd do. But you're having a good time. I'm having fun. And that's good. Life should be surprised. There should be surprises.
Yeah. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you stopping by, talking to us. Nice. And we hope our listeners check out your new album coming out July 27th.
July 27th. Go to Amazon.com. You can pre-orders are going on right now. It's called For the Love of Metal.
And there's got to be a tour to follow up, I assume?
Well, I start doing live shows the beginning of July.
Awesome. Outstanding. And thanks again, man. That's great.
Pleasure.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.